Now, today I'm going to bring into focus a boxer, unless you know this story, you, trust me, will struggle to believe. This boxer in question boxed as a professional at every single weight. He not only boxed as a professional at every single weight, he excelled to the very top. Yes, a professional boxing at the lightest weight to the heavyweight division. It's very difficult to believe, but please sit back and allow me to tell the story of the extraordinary orchid man, Georges Carpentier. The French announced him as Carpentier, but I'm talking my English accent, so we're going to call him Georges Carpentier, the orchid man. Little George was born just outside of Calais in a town called Lens in 1894. To poor parents, aged just 12, he would join his dad down a coal mine. Now, bear in mind, he's locked away from the sun. He was a pale, fair lad, very timid looking, often deemed as a mummy's boy, little George Carpentier. He actually went to the boxing club. He would sit on the sidelines watching the other kids box. They got to know him. His confidence got up. He got the odd rub on the head, and eventually he had a pair of gloves. And the tiny, fair-haired, milky-looking, timid Carpentier got some gloves on and sparred with a much bigger lad. And to the gym's trainer's amazement, he actually beaten somebody much bigger than himself. Now, aged just 12, within 1 year, you've got to bear this in mind of today's boxing. Within just 1 year, and the lightest weight division, aged 13, little George Carpentier walked from Calais to Paris for his first 4-round professional fight. He walked 100 miles from Calais to Paris for his first professional fight, aged just 13. So we have a coal miner at 12, a professional boxer at 13 in the lowest weight division, and he won on points. Carpentier, aged just 15, would become the French bantamweight champion. Aged 17, he would travel to London to take on young Joseph, and he would become the European champion. Just 1 month after his 18th birthday, now very popular in London and the UK, was Carpentier. He would take on Jim Sullivan for the European middleweight championship. He would flatten Sullivan in 2 to be crowned champion of Europe in the middle division. Carpentier, still growing, in his teens, he became the continental king at both light heavy and heavyweight. World War I would pull an handbrake up on his career for some 5 years. When Carpentier returned in 1919, he was as good as ever. He would take on Batlin Levensky for the light heavyweight championship of the world. And it will be Carpentier that will be victorious in 4 rounds. The orchid man, the once timid little boy, is now the light heavyweight champion of the world and a European heavyweight champion. He has been lined up for a shot at the greatest prize in sport, the heavyweight championship of the world. To think he's gone through every single weight, and now he's a crack at Jack Dempsey, the Manasseh Mauler, the American, is now giving George Carpentier, the orchid man, a shot at the greatest prize in sport. This fight would grab massive interest from around the world. Carpentier, yes, he should be the away fighter and not the favourite with the crowd. But what happened in World War I had a bigger picture to speak on this story, because Dempsey, the champion, was deemed as a war dodger, as where on the other hand, the orchid man was a decorated war hero in the Air Force. So that even the American crowd were vastly swaying with the underdog in this fight. It would create such interest. This fight will be the first fight ever to go through the $1 million gate sales. 80,000 people packed in live to watch this fight. Could the orchid man, the little timid boy, go through every weight and turn over the great Jack Dempsey? In round 1, he had success. And watch this, here in round 2, the Orchid Man. Could he pull it off? In that exchange, the Orchid Man hit Dempsey so hard he smashed his own hand in 2 places, and it stopped the Frenchman from continuing in his attack in the way he would like to have. Unfortunately for the Orchid Man, this was just a bridge too far, even for his great achievements. Dempsey would go on to beat him in the 4th round. But surely, with this man's achievements, his great personality out in the ring, his heroics in the war, and to think, going back, he had walked 100 miles for his first pro fight, to step through all 8 weight divisions, and to nearly lift the greatest prize in sport. Surely, us as boxing fans are keen to keep the Orchid Man in our memory. He died aged 81 in Paris. In later life he became a bar owner, a film actor, and even a boxing referee. But I think we, as fans, owe the memory and the love to the much loved Orchid Man, George Carpentier. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to click and subscribe. Next time.